Good morning. Welcome to Crochet Rocks. Tracy here. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Well, good morning. It's a lovely sunny day this morning. And I slept well, thank goodness for that. I slept so well that while we went to the cinema yesterday and we went to see Oppenheimer, a few people have asked me to say what I thought of it. But all I can say is that it was not an action movie, and therefore a 3-hour-long movie that's not action movie when you're in the dark and you're tired makes this happen. Yeah. So I did nod a couple of times, but I didn't fall asleep and I didn't miss anything. I just had to make sure that my eyes were open and have another bit of drink and try and stay awake. But it was a hard. It was hard at times because of the dark and the fact that I had such a bad night's sleep the night before. But as a movie, I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it, but I feel like, this is because I've been asked to say, if you don't have background knowledge of what went on, then you can feel a little lost because it goes backwards and forwards. And I was also kind of a little surprised they didn't show any of the bombs that went off and any of the devastation and the reason for the feelings. I didn't, obviously we all know it happened, but in the context of this movie, there'll be young people who've never really seen that footage or any of the stats or anything like that. And so I feel like without that, it was a bit difficult to kind of, I don't know, I think, there are people who are not going to understand what the heck is going on, but unless you have foreknowledge that there was a movement to try and remove his security clearance after the war and reasons why, but obviously it did flash back, so you could see the reasons why they were saying it and the reasons why they shouldn't be saying it. Yeah, so it was pretty good, but I think you've got to have some knowledge already. Yeah, it was nice though. Nice to get out, and we did. It's with although I mentioned yesterday that if we go later, it's not such a hit on the parking costs. Well, we got there and parked up, and we went to our usual car park, and there was notices everywhere saying that it is now changed to midnight, so it made no difference whatsoever going later to us. They've changed the rules, so you now pay up to midnight, which is absolutely disgusting, to be honest with you. And there is still only 2 hours or 4 hours. There's no 3. And, I feel like it's just because there's a cinema in the town and they've got you by the short and curlies that they're doing this. It's so, so wrong. So I left my other joke book out in the Yarner van. So this is the Best Old Folk Jokes Ever by Chantel Grace. So we'll do the first one of these, and the first one is a whole page long, so you've got to bear with me. It's not massive. It is funny. I had a little look at it, and it said, and it's quite apt because I went to the cinema. It says, 2 old guys, George and Pete, went to the movies. A few minutes after it started, George was heard Pete rustling around, searching on the floor under his seat. "What are you doing?" asked George. Pete, a little grumpy at this time, replied, "I had a caramel in my mouth and it dropped out and I can't find it." And George said, "Forget it. It'll be all dirty by now." And Pete said, "I have to find it. It's got my teeth in it." Oh. Thankfully, I don't have false teeth. My mother did. My mum got gum disease, so she had false teeth from a very early age. So I only ever knew her with false teeth. This false teeth is a funny thing, isn't it? Because it's like people look so different without them. They do though, don't they? That it's quite a funny thing. I remember the first time I ever saw my father-in-law, he had teeth in, and I remember thinking he had this aura about him. Not that he was good looking or anything, he wasn't, but he had this kind of 50s type glamour that Frank Sinatra would have had, He had this presence, and the dark kind of olive skin because they're Italian in them. And then I saw him hurt his teeth the next time. It was like, oh, really no aura there. So, but it is weird, isn't it, when you first see someone without their gnashes in. It's odd. Anyway, if I had them, no one would ever see me without them. That's for sure. I'd have probably implants so that it couldn't be removed, even though it cost an absolute arm and a leg. Oh, I suppose it's like Monday. Manic message. So yeah, we went to see 2 movies now. The Meg 2 and Oppenheimer. We've missed a few, but you never know. We might go again at some point. Gary's got Disney, though. He's going to Disney, and that'll be 3 days out of the equation. So, yeah, be weird without him. But, you know, got a few things that I'll be doing. So that's cool. We've got to go shopping today because he needs to get stuff to go with and I need to get stuff to survive while he's gone. So that'll be happening. I have got a magazine to do an open with me. Rather than a book review, I'll do an open with me this time. And I think it's simply crochet. I am not absolutely sure, but I'll film that a little bit later. So, goodness gracious, I couldn't believe it. I was got home from the cinema and sat in front of the TV and I was so tired. And I had an early night. I actually said to Gary, I'm tired, I'm going to bed, before he did, which was a bit unheard of, really. But it was nice to just... And I'd forgotten to put the aircon on, so I thought, oh, it's going to be hot, but it wasn't. It was just nice. I did wake up in the night and think, putting it on, though. And Gary was snoring, so I thought, earplugs time, you know, might as well stick it on. The only reason I don't put it on later, if I've forgotten, is because for a while it makes a funny noise, and that's only because there's a pump, whereas it has to pump the water up and out that it amasses. So it makes a bit of a funny pump noise. It goes like this, which is very annoying to me. But, you know, the thing is, if you can fall asleep in front of the TV when there's a shootout going on, why is it when you get to bed, noises like keep you awake? It makes no sense. You know, you can fall asleep in front of the TV and there'll be World War III on TV. Just sleep through it. Get in bed. Slightest little noise. What's that all about? That's what I want to know. So I did another giveaway yesterday. If you haven't seen it already, don't forget to watch out and take part, because it was quite nice stuff. Another thing I've done, I've sold all of my, in Hobby Rocks, I've sold all of my Clover Amours now. I did reduce the prices, and no, that's not actually true. I've sold all of one type. I had the steel ones and the aluminium ones. And the aluminium ones were the larger sizes, the steel ones are the smaller sizes. I've still got 2 left of each, I think. Yeah, when I say I sold them all, I haven't. I don't know what made me think that. Oh, I sold them all off of eBay, that's what it was. I sold them on eBay. And so, the person that bought them, actually... anyway, I'll tell you about that in a minute. But there was... I decided to take a whole set out for me because I've never used Clover Amours. I tell a lie, I've used a brown one. I don't know what size that was, but I've used a brown one because I can remember using the brown one. And the others I don't know. So I've taken a whole set and I've put them in one of my desktop crochet hook holders, and I'm going to use them and review them because I used to review crochet hooks all the time. I've done quite a lot of them, and I kind of just stopped. I got into the tulips and that was it. I just got stuck in and using them all the time because they are my favourite hooks, and I really didn't bother reviewing anymore. So I'll review those and see why a lot of people like hold them up to be this amazing hook that they won't use any other, and I want to see why. So I'm going to look into it and use them and do an honest review against those and the ones I've used before, and my favourites, which are the tulips. So I'm going to do that. Oh yeah, this guy, he ordered this set of hooks and he put down his address. And so last night I got online, because I've got postman coming today, so I've got to listen out for it. And I added his order to mine. And then I messaged him because his address, when he put it in, he said it was Staffordshire. But the address come up as Warwickshire, and I don't know enough about the area to know if that's right. So I messaged him about it, and I said, you know, when I looked on Royal Mail, he said, oh, by the way, you can't send parcels to me from Royal Mail. They won't deliver here. So I'd already paid for the postage, and I said, well, that's unfortunate because I've already paid for the postage. And now I'm going to have to try and get a refund. It would have been helpful if you'd maybe put that on there in the first place, saying, you know, they don't deliver there, to use this address instead. Perhaps you could use the other address as your default address, so that in future when people kind of, you know, it can't be the only time you've ever had this crop up. Royal Mail are the main carrier. And he said, oh, well, when I use click and collect, usually Yodel. And I thought, well, I don't want to use Yodel. They've got such a bad reputation. But and also, when I first started Hobby Rocks, I looked into all these different couriers, and most of them wanted to ask me questions like, how many parcels do you send a week or a month? I was like, I don't really know. I haven't got any history to tell you that. So they wouldn't trade with me. And I thought, well, screw you then. I'll go with Royal Mail. So that's what I've done. And I don't really want to have lots of different ones, you know. And I said, well, I cannot be the only person that's ever used Royal Mail to you. And, you know, now I've got to try and refund that postage, which is just a nightmare. I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to do it. Anyway, beside the point. What a div, though. Seriously. Okay, word of the day. Div. Define div. Divvy. I don't even know what that means. But it just, you know, plonker, idiot. Another one, plonker. Muppet. Dipstick. That kind of thing. Without a rude word. It's just, what a div. What a div. So yeah, can you believe it? Why give an address that they won't deliver to? I cannot understand. I cannot understand. If you've got two addresses, use the other. The one that everybody delivers to. I don't understand some people. They're just bizarre. Anyway, hopefully I'll sort it all out. Otherwise, I'll have just lost whatever for that postage. Luckily, it was a thin parcel, so it wasn't like massive amount. You know, it's a large letter amount, so that's fine. Yeah, but still annoying, you know. I'm a whinger today, ginger whinger. And I've noticed as well my roots need doing. Saw that yesterday when I looked in the mirror and I thought, oh, look, lots of dark coming through here. So I'm going to have to do that tomorrow. Yeah. My favourite day is not at all, to be honest with you. It's becoming a chore. You know what, this chore, I actually said this to myself this morning and I'm ashamed to admit it. It's like as I laid there thinking about getting up, I thought I'll have a shower. I only did that yesterday, really. Why do I have to do it every day? Why can't I just be clean all the time? You know, it's like it comes to something when getting up and having your shower is something you think, oh, what a chore. But I did it anyway. You'll be pleased to know. You know, if this was smell-o-vision, I smell good. You know, I'm just saying I did do it. I'm not smelly. But I thought that I just suddenly woke up to the idea and thought, really, you're just moaning about getting clean. I did that yesterday. Well, have I got to do it again? You know, I already did it. That is the epitome of being a lazy cabbage, isn't it? I was a lazy cabbage yesterday. In my defence, I was tired. But there's no excuse for it this morning. I had a really good night's sleep. Oh, lazy cabbage. That's me. Anyway, I have to go shopping. Gary wants to go sooner rather than later. He's so demanding, Gary, sometimes, you know. So, but I'm going to go late. I want to sit in the garden. So I'm going to get off and upload this video. And, yeah, thankfully, life will get back to normal at some point. It's just been a bit of an up in the air thing this last few days, for one reason or another. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.